So today's Pilates session is going to be based on hip mobility, a lot based on rotational movements. So one of the reasons that people get a lot of back pain, hip pain, is when they perform a movement which requires them to twist. And sometimes a sudden twisting movement, whether to pick something up from the floor or just turn to look behind, that can cause a sudden almost spasm, which causes an issue in the lower back and hip area. So we're going to work around these areas, one, to help strengthen the hip and also to provide you with more mobility. So when you rotate, you have a greater range of motion to turn, so you don't feel too restricted, your hips feel more loose, and you're able to go about and move around with much more mobility and flexibility than you currently have. So some of these movements may feel uncomfortable, so I'm going to give you adjustments to make with your leg position so you feel more comfortable through the movement. So the first one we're going to do, as you make your way to your mat, is we're going to position ourselves seated with our right leg forward. And the right leg is going to be positioned in front at roughly 90 degrees. So from that 90-degree angle, we will have leg positioned, and then we're going to take the left leg. Now the left leg will go at 90 degrees, almost parallel to the leg in front. So as the left leg is at 90 degrees, we are now leaning, or you're probably leaning quite far over towards the right. Now we want to be more square. Now if we were to take the right hand down to help straighten ourselves up, we might be getting a little bit of pinching on that left hip. If I was to take my left hand, for some of you, you may not be able to get your hand down on the floor. And if you tried, you may be getting some pinching through that hip, causing some discomfort down the thigh. So we're going to adjust the position to make it more comfortable. And for this, you're probably going to need a couple of blocks or a couple of cushions. So whether you have blocks or whether you have a couple of sofa cushions, you can use those instead. And that just gives you a little bit of a lift to make the movement a little bit more comfortable. So from our position, with the right leg at 90 degrees, the left leg at 90 degrees, and we're sloping over to the side, and we've got the right hand flat, we're struggling with this left arm. So start with one cushion or one block, place it to your left, and then place your hand on top. If you're still struggling to get the hand down, take a second cushion and see how that feels. So that should feel a bit more comfortable. Now, as you start to square up, you may be getting this pinching again through the hip. So if you're getting pinching, we need to adjust the legs. To adjust the legs, we bring the back leg, the left leg, forward, and we bring the right foot in, and hopefully that will ease off the pain and will keep you in a more upright position. Now, once you're in position here, we are facing forward. We're going to drop the shoulders. We're going to work through this left hip. Now, from here, you want to imagine that you are looking into your neighbour's garden. You're going to be peering over the fence. So I want you to lift the spine, lift the belly button as if you're trying to lift the belly button over the right leg. We lift, we extend, and then we're just going to lean forward. So we're looking over the fence, we're looking into the garden, and as we lean, you're going to feel this left hip, lower back area, starting to stretch. Now from here, we're going to hold and we're going to breathe for about 20 seconds. Keep the shoulders down, keep the hands pressed as firmly down into the floor as you can. For any second hold. And then after 20 seconds, we are going to just come back. So we're leaning back to where we started. And then we're going to take our left hand to the belly button. This is the second stage now with a little bit of rotation. So left hand on the belly button. We need to turn to the left. So we're going to exhale and slowly twist, twisting through that hip. We come round. And as you twist through the hip, the left hand will now come away from the belly button and will come behind us. Now, if you're struggling to get your hands on the floor, just come back and take one of your cushions and just place your left hand on the cushion and slowly start to turn round to the left. As you're turning to the left, you'll feel that hip on that left side. Just take it steady. Let the hip go and let the shoulder follow. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, we're going to go for about 20 seconds. Then 20 seconds, we shall just take an exhale to come round. So we're facing forward. We're going to bring the legs in. We're going to relax the legs. Hips may be feeling a little sore. So we come in and we just hold ourselves into a ball. Relax. And although it's sore, hopefully you should just feel a little bit of a release now as we just help to relax that left hip. And then we're going to change to the other side. So if you bring your cushions and blocks back into the center, and we adjust to come back to our starting position. So the left leg will go forward at 90 degrees. The right leg will come back at 90 degrees. And now we're kind of sloping over to that right, over to that left. So if we start with, again, one cushion, one block, over to the right, and again, left hand down by his side should be fine, but it's that right arm that might be struggling to reach. So let's use the second cushion, second block, and your hand should be able to come down. Now, as soon as we start to lift and straighten up and become more square, again, we're going to get this discomfort in the hip. You might be getting that pinching, so we need to adjust the legs once again. So we bring the right leg forward. We bring the left foot into the thigh. We're just relaxing the hips slightly, and then we can adjust. So now we come up and we should be fine. But again, we might be getting a little bit of discomfort. So we just need to adjust the legs very slowly. A little bit of a rotation wise there. A little bit of a twist there just to make ourselves upright. So we need to make those little adjustments, and it will vary from person to person on how you adjust. So we're going to get ready to keep our hands pressed. And if you need any extra help, you've got the extra cushion there for your hand to help you if you need to. And then we're going to take that inhale as you prepare, drop the shoulders, and exhale. We're going to take that look over the fence again. So we want to lift and lean. Lift to look over the fence and lean to nosy over. See what's going on in the garden. And looking over and holding from there. 20 seconds hold. Breathe in. Breathe out. And as you're leaning forward, don't forget to lift. Try not to drop down. Just lift and lean, just fractionally. Don't lean too far. So we're working down this right hip, right lower back area first. And then after 20 seconds, we come back. So from there, we're back to our starting position. And now we bring our right hand to the belly button. And then we're ready to turn. So we rotate through the hip, facing the wall this time on the right. And as you're turning, we're releasing the hand and we're placing the hand behind us onto the floor. But if you're struggling to reach, remove one of your blocks, one of your cushions, take it behind. And then we turn and we face. So you should feel this through the hip as we face the wall. And we're going to hold 20 seconds from there. Breathing in. Breathing out. And after 20-second hold, we're ready to come out. And then we're ready to release the legs and relax. Bring the knees in, hug the legs and into a ball where we shoulders hold and hug, and then get ready to adjust for our next position. So for the next position, you might want to keep one of the cushions for your head and place that behind you. The idea is to help keep your head relaxed, and if you can keep it and keep the neck in line with the spine as much as you can, that will make things much more comfortable. Now, from here, we're going to work through the hip again. So hopefully now we should feel, although a little sore, we should feel a bit more freer through the hips. And we're going to go that to the next stage by laying down on our back. Now, as you come down onto your back, I'm just going to start with the left leg. We're going to keep our shoulders down on the floor, and we're going to drop our hips to the left. Now, as you drop, I want you to take the left leg, and as you bring the leg back, take your right hand, and I want you, if you can, to hold that foot. So your right hand is holding the left foot. If you can't reach, don't worry, just bring the hand as close as you can to the foot and place it down on the floor. So once we're in position here, we now need to take the right leg and we take the right leg to a tabletop. Keep the shoulders down, imprint the back into the mat, and then with your right leg, cross. Now cross slowly, because don't lift the shoulder away, keep the shoulder down, and then from there, when you've gone as far as you can, take your left hand onto the right knee. It's going to feel like almost like a game of Twister, trying to get yourself into this funny position. And then just gently hold the outside of the knee and just gently press down. And we're going to hold from there. And again, we're looking at about 20 seconds. So looking straight to the ceiling, keeping your shoulders down on the floor. So you're keeping the back stable. It's just the lower half of the body that we're working. Breathing in, breathing out. And then after 20 seconds of holding, if it's getting painful, then reduce the length of time. And then we come up. And as we come up, we are relaxing from there. Hug the knees into the chest. Bring them in nice and close. And then we are going to change. So back to starting position, laying on your back. And we are dropping the hips this time to the right. And from here, we're taking the right leg, taking that foot back, and then taking our left hand and hold the foot. If you can drop that right knee down to the floor. That's great. If not, just take it down as far as it's comfortable. And then bring the left leg to tabletop. Then cross the left leg slowly over. Breathing out. Slowly cross. Make sure the shoulder, especially that left shoulder, stays down. Hand on the knee. And just exhale, press. Now, as you're pressing very gently, you might feel, depending on how tight it is around the lower back, you might feel the left hip and lower back really quite tight. So hold and don't force the press, just lightly hold. Breathe in and breathe out. Hold and relax. 20-second hold should be more than long enough. Again, too uncomfortable, too painful. Starts to get a little bit of a sharp pain, then ease off, don't go any further. And then after our period, let's come back in and relax on there. Just hold the knees into the chest. Bring them in nice and close. Roll the hips round into a circle. And then because we've done quite a bit of deep, long period stretching through the hips, we are going to turn over onto our front and into a box. And we are going to loosen up from here. So you might be a little bit sore, but after a little bit of time, the hips will feel freer. They'll feel more mobile, and you should feel yourself rotating with much more mobility and a greater range of motion. So twisting should become a little easier, should become more comfortable, and it should really help you to avoid any pain through the lower back as you've eased and relaxed everything. So we're just going between the cat and the cow position now, just to relax the spine, relax the back, and then in your own time, because you've been on the floor for a good 20 minutes or so, you might feel a little bit lightheaded coming onto your feet. So when you make your way up, take your time, and then just roll your shoulders back and just give your legs a little shake and a little gentle twist through the hips to free everything up. And then hopefully you're feeling really freer, looser, and more mobile. Thanks for joining me for today's session. Take care of yourself, stay in good health, and I will see you soon.